Hey, Bobby Moats here.
Hey, my name is Riley.
Hey everybody, this is Michael, and you're listening to Speculo Live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Speculo Live. Bobby and I are here today. First episode of our summer series. We'll call it summer series. It just means it's summer. The kids are out of school. So now we got to scramble as best we can in weird places, but still bringing good content to you guys. We're doing the work, putting in the research, bringing the education. We had some great wins last week with what we were mentioned in Inman, which is super exciting, on stage in Miami. It was super cool to have that. Shout out from the stage from Jonathan Lickstein, who is the president of Beaches MLS. So that was kind of exciting. And then, we've been working hard. We've got a BOSS event, BOSS, Broker Operator Summit, hosted by Keller Williams from Mike Dooley out in Arkansas, a good friend of ours, good guy. And he's doing all the things right now to help educate all the brokers in his area, getting them up to speed with, all things tactical. And one of those big buckets is AI. I know you and Riley went out to the one in Arkansas. You were at the Razorback Stadium, which I'm sure felt like, basically being in a bad house of, I don't know what you would call it, but I mean, you're an Aggie. That probably felt terrible to be surrounded by.
It was like, I mean, there are worse places to go. There are worse places to go. I have nothing against the Razorbacks, mainly because they never beat us at anything. So even when they're number one seed in the baseball tournament, we still beat them this year. So, it is what it is. I still have that against Mike. He still wishes he was an Aggie at the end of the. I'm kidding. He doesn't. No, it was a really cool experience to go over there, talk to a bunch of great real estate leaders in the Arkansas area, tell them about what's going on with AI. The excitement in the room was awesome. I've been to a lot of different speaking arrangements, and some of them people are just not interested in hearing, mainly because they aren't coming with an open mind and ear for education. But those people were, and they're all really tuned into the real estate market and thriving at a high level, and they see where it's going. And it was a really great conversation, and I was glad we got to go out there and do it, and glad we get to go do it again. And Riley's up there at Kansas City right now, doing the same thing. I would be up there too, but summertime, kids brought home their last sicknesses from school, and so I don't want to get anybody sick.
Yeah, I think you're
Like
right.
you.
I think, we're both coming down with it. Kids bring all the dang germs home. I mean, I think it's interesting how everybody comes in to those big broker owner summits, and just being a broker owner in general, and everybody's skeptical of anything new. They're the first ones that get hit up. Let's be honest. Something brand new comes out and it's like, hey, let's get in front of everybody that has money. And it's enough now, after all of the technology rollouts, all of the new advances in social media and lead generation and just email marketing management and whatever, that it's really just come down to like, okay, what is this and should I trust it? And so when you think of that bell curve of adoption, there's that early adopters, and then there's the early majority, the late majority, the laggards. And right now we're definitely in an early adopter phase. We're coming out of the innovator phase, so to speak, where there's those people that are the first ones to get the iPhone. They'll stand in line and go, I don't even give a crap what it does. I just want it. And so we're now in that early adopter phase. And I think the people that are joining now are going to be well ahead of the curve when it comes to implementing AI into their business. So, but that's just, we don't care one way or another what bucket you fall into. We just want you to take the time to educate yourself. And I think Bobby and I have been pretty vocal about that, doing the little things. So as always, we like to cover three things on all of these calls. And this week, our three things are going to be, AI curiosity. So, we were recently mentioned in that Inman magazine article, but, mentioned on stage, but, really talking about why it's becoming essential to have AI in real estate. And then I want to talk about this thing that's happening out in New Jersey. I think you can give some good context, but in New Jersey, Jersey City, they banned AI rent algorithms, which is super weird. And you're going to start seeing this. I think you mentioned this before. You're going to start seeing certain jurisdictions cracking down on AI, what it can and cannot do. And I think it's important that we talk about it, because if it impacts your business, there's ways around that sort of thing. But, it doesn't matter if it's that or TCPA compliance and Obviously, the legal battles that the entire real estate industry went through. Like, what does it mean for your business? And one thing about real estate teams, agents, leaders, we are very adaptable, and we just have to think
Yeah.
about what comes next. And then this last third bucket we want to talk about that you brought up is Google rolled out their VEO3 model this week and this last weekend. And it really represents a new wave of realistic marketing, a new wave of AI technology. And some people, it might be drinking from a fire hose when we talk about it, but I think that you can bring some good context to what it means. So,
I think it's going to
um,
tie a bow around why this is so important for us to start paying attention as real estate agents. But yeah,
yeah, I agree. So let's talk about, AI becoming essential in real estate tech. The integration in real estate has obviously been surging. Over half of the top 200 tech products for brokerages and agents are now AI powered, which is crazy. That's up 30% from the previous year. So, nearly 90% of brokerages are using some sort of AI. I was recently on that podcast where I would agree. Obviously that's a number. I also made the joke that 70% of people know you can just make up any stat, but that's a joke. You get it, Bobby, right? It's funny. Insert
it's
laugh,
hilarious.
pause for laughter. Um, let's talk about it. Why is it becoming essential to use AI in your real estate tech platform in your stack?
Why?
Yeah,
Well,
why?
I mean, it is the so I had a lot of conversations this last weekend. I was at one of my cousin's weddings and was meeting with everybody from one of my cousins is an international musician. One is a uh uh one of the best man was diving into AI and building it in the banking system. And then also I was sitting next to one of the leading minds in venture capitalism around technology. He's on a board of a lot of those firms, and one of the things who's already gone through the whole tech game and sold and made all his money. So one of the things that I've learned is the people that are embracing it are thriving and moving forward quickly, and the ones that are pushing against it, such as my cousin who's an artist, are the ones that are going to get ultimately left behind. And I'm not saying it's going to replace. It's not going to replace the great artists out there, whether it's music, art, whatever it is, or artists in real estate. But if you don't embrace the leverage that it provides for you in whatever industry that you're in, we're going to be looking at 3 to 5 years before something pops up that's going to ultimately replace you, not because you're not good at what you do, but just because you're not going to be able to support yourself with what you do. And so you have to be able to innovate on the way that you're doing it moving forward so that you can connect and have conversations and get your product across to more people, leveraging the things that AI are going to be able to give you. And that's the same for real estate. That's the same for any tech company out there. It's the same for everything. And it's something that we're trying to do really, really deeply over at Speculo. And so I think that like if you don't want to engage with AI, make somebody else do it for you for your own business, because it has to. Like, I think it was the heads of Google the other day were having a conversation. They were talking about they expect in the next 3 to 5 years us to reach a point of AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. And what that means is the AI is as smart as the collective intelligence of the world. Okay, that's a big step forward. And that's something that has been hypothesized about or written in sci-fi books about for a long time, but it's absolutely reaching that point. And the other big one is they said, okay, well, once it hits that and it's able to self-improve upon itself, then 3 years later, we're going to hit ASI, which is artificial superintelligence.
Man.
Which at that point, so you got about a decade to get all your ducks in a row to understand how do I need to leverage this to the highest levels possible to create as much business impact and as much leverage for me and my business, so that I can not, so that I don't get over, into this next decade and my business falls apart because it's taken over by the people that are leveraging this. Because let's think about this for a second. If you had the ability to have somebody working with you in your business that had more intelligence than the collective human race, why would you not hire that person?
Yeah.
It's one, and the people that are going to do that are going to beat you. It's inevitable. And so we got to get to a place where we're leveraging that, because over the next 5, 10 years, it's gonna be imperative. So
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah. And I
spiel.
think I think that right now is the best time that you can not only grab a solid partner that can help show you how this all works, but also to learn alongside of them, right? Like we've talked about this before. If you classify yourself as an AI expert, then you're lying. Nobody is an expert, right? It's all changing and shifting and adjusting so much that there's no experts, but there is great leaders that are well versed in artificial intelligence. And I think that you should be conducting yourself in a way of let's attach my leadership team to somebody that is in that space of high knowledge to get them caught up, because you shouldn't try to take this all on yourself. And honestly, there are very few leaders now that have adjusted their business model from being real estate agent to top producing agent to team owner, team leader, and then still doing the same things they were doing day one. There are those out
Hmm.
there, but they're very few and far between. And so if you are going to implement AI, you need to be the person that rallies your team and says, this is a part of our culture now. We will all be caught up in understanding of what it is that AI can do to help us in some way, shape, or form. And it transcends geographical regions. Like it doesn't matter if you're in a major metropolitan area or in a slower moving market in Idaho. I think that it can have a defined impact on you and your team, right? And
Yeah.
so I think it's really important that people understand that it is coming. And the best thing you can do is grab your leaders, and maybe it's just one of you, and you only have one other person, but get that leader and get them on the same level as you, where you guys are immersed, engaged, and holding accountable the ability to um, hold them accountable to the ability to learn about everything that's going on in AI, right? So some of the best conversations I ever had with market centers were the ones that were in lower populated areas that were so well versed in how to lead gen that it made them a difference maker in their area, right? You look at some of the real
Hmm.
trends, top teams that are doing 150 transactions a year. Not all of them are in major metropolitan areas. It's amazing to me that some of them are in smaller populations, but they have 70% of the market. They're doing 150 transactions. So imagine the defining the defining opportunity you have right now to be that person, right? It can change
Yeah.
lives. You can employ 10, 15 people that can feed their families, right? That can change their careers, that can have an impact in their communities, that can sponsor events, that can support local businesses with the compensation they're making. So it can be really something that's profound. Yeah. So AI becomes essential in real estate tech. I think that's a no-brainer. It seems like that's an obvious statement, but that's the truth. And of the 90% of brokerages that are in there using it, I said this before, I would say that maybe 10% are actually using it wisely or using it the way that it should be. I think that honestly, it's writing listing descriptions, training a brain to teach a book. But the reality is that there are a million ways that you should be checking your own boxes outside of what your brokerage has already done.
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of knowledge there. It's at this point too that you can go like every single. I'm not going to tell you to go be a lawyer or anything like that, but the things that are fact based in life and even art at this point, um, you should be able to get clear answers to pretty
Yeah,
effectively from AI, and it's only getting smarter. It's not going to get worse. It's not getting worse, and despite what people want it to do, like this organization out in New Jersey, like it's not going to get worse. It's only going to get smarter. It's only going to get better. Um, and it's silly to think that it's worse than humans at this point for
yeah,
most things. Not for most things. For anything that's like text knowledge based type thing.
yeah. Well, good. All right. I think we beat that one to death. Let's talk about these legal challenges that you were seeing out in Jersey City. So right now, rent pricing. So in Jersey City, they recently banned landlords from using AI-driven rent setting software. Excuse me, citing concerns over inflated rents and housing affordability. This move targets companies like RealPage and Yardi Systems, which use algorithms to set rental prices. And the ban allows residents to file complaints against landlords using software like this, marking a significant development in the regulation of AI in real estate. So, let me
Uh,
ask this. it's got to be one of the first real crackdowns on AI in real estate, right? It's a toe in the water, and it's coming. But what does this mean for AI in MLSs and brokerages? What does it mean?
Honestly, I would argue that this isn't AI that they're using to make this happen. Um, I think they're using AI as a buzzword here, just to try and attack it. But if you look at it, that the idea of the algorithm, the pricing algorithm, has been around since the internet was invented, right? Or even before that, right? Whether it's an algorithm in our brain or an algorithm in Zillow, it's always there. Everybody's got access to them. They're all over the place. If you want to see suggested rental prices, you can go to Zillow and look at it right now. And so I think there's a lot of piggybacking going on. Not only in like, oh, AI is the buzzword, and let's go see how we can crack down on it and see what all we can crack down on. But also some of these rental companies, I know they've been going through some other lawsuits here recently, um, just around like price manipulation and stuff. So I honestly think if you look at this thing and you think that AI bad because it's doing this and it's trying to like price people out of properties, that's not what's going on, guys. That is specifically their little formulas that they set up that was not created by AI. And it's not even AI going in there and doing that thing. That would be my argument around this thing. But it can take it into a whole nother conversation of, at some point in the near future, what does it look like to have AI price these things? And I think you can set up some algorithms. I'm not going to use the term algorithms. You can set up some parameters around how, or rules around how we want AI as a society to price things effectively. And it's going to follow those better than bureaucrats or city councils or any of that stuff that all have their own deep-seated need that needs to be in that thing. Like, oh, these rents over here need to be more, these need to be less. You can create something where AI can create a standardized model of pricing and stick to it every single time. And it's going to create a much more consistent and fair system based on whatever it is that that group is trying to create. And so I think that banning AI from that conversation is a mistake. I think they need to use more AI to get rid of arbitrary algorithms that were created, by just a bunch of Excel formulas, and have it leverage more non-numerical things, especially if that's an importance to that community, in their pricing algorithms. So that's just my spiel. I got a lot of spiels today. It's the Dayquil. It's just going. You're muted, Mike.
There we go. Yeah, I agree. And I think that, let's be honest, AI didn't just suddenly decide, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump into this rent controlled environment and I'm going to craft all my own prices by myself. And I know nothing. Like, there's a human component to that. And you're right. I think that, the buzzword of AI and the algorithmic presence that's existed for years is a big driver of this. It's that's one of the things you're going to see is the attempt
Yeah.
to make it sound like the bad man again. But it does take a human component to be able to do some of these things. And so yeah, I think that there should be some some parameters or guardrails around how you use some of this stuff. But again, like, let's be honest, this is why we as a group in general are different, because we don't replace the human element, right? So AI will do what you tell it to do. So if there's some bad seeds that are operating in that ecosystem, then I think that that's one thing. But let's also be honest, let's call a spade a spade. And this may be controversial, but government entities don't like losing control of certain things. And a lot of them, especially in certain markets, don't understand AI. So instead of letting it run and do its thing, they want to put a hold on it. And transparently, I don't know enough of what the cause was to be looking for bans, but obviously there were some people that were impacted in a negative way. So there's a lot to every one of these stories that we don't know the whole story on, but I think you summarize it. So well, let's talk about this third topic now, Google's VEO3, and let's talk about how it's going to impact real estate marketing. So if you don't know, Google recently launched what they're calling VEO3, and it's an AI-powered video generation tool that enables the creation of high-level quality videos from simple texts or image prompts or things like that. And VEO3 includes like synchronizing audio and adds dialogue, sound effects, offering, basically in real estate, it'll give you a tool for marketing properties, right? So this could actually revolutionize property listings and virtual tours and make them more engaging, more accessible, more fun. And you and I touched on that previously with some of your zoom out features that you were able to create for yourself, right? So why does this matter? Let's talk about VEO3. So how are tools like VEO3 transforming listing presentations? Let's talk about that.
I mean, they haven't yet, but if you have not checked out VEO3, so there's been this meme going around for a long time with how AI is not where it needs to go because you have a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti and it just doesn't it looks ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
started with some of the original video AI video software, and it just looked like an alien eating strings, right? And it just kept moving, and fingers weren't right. And then it got progressively a little bit better, but still looked ridiculous.
yeah,
What VO3 represents, though, is a monumental shift forward in the ability to create video content. Now, in isolation, you're not going to create a whole movie that's consistent across the board with this thing. But what it does is it creates and you can go check out the VO3 website. It creates a photorealistic, like very realistic moving image, right? A movie with not only video, but also sound that matches that video. Sound that represents dialogue or sound that represents sound effects. And I don't think a lot of people understand what that means. It means that we could take a video of anybody, of yourself, of whatever. We can pull some dialogue together and have a video give the podcast, make the video, whatever it is, and it's going to look exactly like you with your voice. Now that's kind of scary at one level, but think of the advertising opportunity that you can create here. You can sit here and say, I need an advertisement for social media that has me walking through. Here's an image of this bedroom or this bathroom that I want to talk about. I can't get out there though right now because the owner's there and I know it's a mess. Put me in it, walking through, talking about, how great the kitchen is. And here's all the things that are great about it. That is something that is probably one more iteration away or in between this iteration and the next iteration that is 100% possible. Because where we're at right now is we can create videos of anything that look 100% real. We have a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti that looks like he's eating spaghetti, albeit it sounds crunchy, which I would not be eating that spaghetti. But at the end of the day, to be able to have that is kind of mind-boggling. And again, I'm going to reiterate this over and over and over again. This video capability with AI is the worst it will ever be.
yeah.
And that should say something that not only am I, a little bit terrified for the things I'm gonna have to watch out for my kids growing up with this, but at the same time, I need to be able to take that and leverage it to the highest level for my business so I don't have to go waste time doing things that are going to take me away from being face to face with my clients, with my prospects, or with my family.
Yeah. Okay. So then when we think about VEO3, let's take it out of the fear bucket of watching Will Smith eat crunchy spaghetti. And let's talk about your listings, right? Let's talk about your
Yeah.
marketing content, right? Ways that you can showcase a property or ways that you can maybe showcase your team. Let's talk about what should they be doing? What should people do to try to understand this a little better? Should they just go to Google VEO3 and just start playing with it? Or what's the best way that you think that they can start using it as a beneficial way to start to showcase some of their properties and their teams and their businesses?
Yeah, what's the best way to do that? Honestly, it is so new. It's hard to kind of give a really clear vision of that. Right now, too, just so you guys know, it is pretty expensive. It's like 100 and something bucks a month to get on, which is a lot cheaper than a human
Yeah,
going in there.
yeah,
Um, the fact that you can go in there and prompt, I don't think that you can actually go put your face in there or your specific properties at this point, but you can go in there and you can prompt somebody to talk and give a glowing review for your real estate company and then post that over social media. That's a huge deal, right? Um, there's a lot of really great things we can do with it, and it still probably has a little ways to go before it's going to absolutely take over.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. So I think crawl, walk, run here is, I would say go and check it out. Go and see.
Yeah.
If you want to be the first one to start implementing some of these things, see how it looks. There's a, I think justifiably, a lot of people have worked very hard on their brands, right, and their names. And what they don't want is to have somebody count them out as an opportunity to work with them because they're taking the human component out. So I think everything you do it in the sense of wanting to keep the culture of who you are and what you do with these tools. So don't start creating videos of yourself eating spaghetti. Let's be obvious. Okay? The stupidest friggin' thing. But what I will say is, like, do take a property. Maybe there's one that you've got on the market right now that's been sitting there for 5 months and you're like, man, this is such a great property. It just needs the right buyer, right? Use this tool for $100 or 150, 200 bucks. If it generates that 3% commission you're looking for, which is obviously completely negotiable based on the current lawsuits, like, I'm not going to disclaimer there. However, if it justifies your commission coming through and selling that property because someone's like, oh my goodness, I just pictured myself in this house. We've already gone through it. I can't believe it's still in the market. Honey, look at this. Let's check it out. Then do it.
Yeah.
Why not? Right? Because right now there's a lot of people in this market that is still in a state of influx. It's still in a state of uncertainty. And, it may not be necessarily where you are. You guys may be crushing it, but if this is something that allows you to get a couple more wins this year, then do it, right? Let's be honest, your deciding factor between choosing a platform and not is how quickly it can generate the outcome you're looking for, right? We see it all the time. We get new clients that immediately have these expectations that they're going to close a deal within the first 5 days that it's been launched. Traditionally, in any platform, it's going to be 30, 60, 90 days before you get that win. But look, if you're able to add a tool like this and find a good partner, again, a good company or potentially a consultant or something that deals with AI, and you say, hey, I want to use this. These are the properties. Like, explain to me, like I'm 5, how I can use this. And then if they say, add it to some of your properties, work with them to get those properties through the tool. It also can be used as an exciting factor. Use it as a novelty, right? We had those damn AI generated action figures that we put out on social media of you and me. And let's be honest, nobody's like making a buying decision based on that, but it's fun, right? So try and find the fun in everything you're doing and really use this as a way to add a fun new component and say, hey guys, look at this cool thing that we just did with this property. The homeowner was super excited to let us do this to feature their home that they love, and it resulted in a close in 30 days. Awesome, rock and roll. Like, why not? Right? It's not yes or no. It's yes and. Yes, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to try it with this property. It's going to change my business.
Yep.
Right. All right, man. Well, those are our 3 topics today that we covered. Number 1 was AI becomes essential in real estate tech. I think that's one we're beating to death right now. Legal challenges surrounding AI and rent pricing. The Jersey City situation is very interesting. We'll obviously keep a pulse on that and what it means for multiple other rent pricing situations. But I don't think you need to be too fearful of that it's going to, impact your business too much. And then Google's
There,
VE.
yeah, there may be, and just so people know, there may be some more real estate organizations or city councils that are going to come out and do some knee-jerk reaction around stuff like that. So just keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, I think too, like to that note, like there are brokerages out there that are fearful of AI due to being sued because of TCPA compliance and things like that. Look, don't never let your broker be the driver of your AI adoption. I think that is a major miss. Take control
Hmm.
of it yourself, because otherwise all you're waiting for is the next rollout or the next inclusion into my platform or my CRM. Like, don't. Don't do that, because you're going to be left behind, right? You put your hands in someone else's decisions and your business is going to fail. So, take control of it and do it together. Awesome. And then
Exactly.
that third topic we covered today was Google's VEO3 and its impact on real estate marketing. I think that's a cool one that you guys really should dive into. Start looking at how you can use it on your presentations and on your listings, and just have fun with it. And I'd love to hear your feedback on that. Bobby, thanks, man. I always love these sessions. I think we're getting in a good. I want to start doing some of these where we're like, let's talk about social media. Like, I want to talk, because there's obviously a lot of components to Speculo AI. We have
Hmm.
Speculo.ai, but we are also, our foundation is in the marketing space. Email campaigns, social media management, finding unique ways for you to run incredible PPC campaigns. So I think there's a lot there that can be done, and I'd love to talk about those things.
Well, yeah, you got me, the nerd here, we're gonna have to get Riley on for some of those conversations because he's more of that space.
Yeah. Yeah, we will. We'll get all that. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
cool thing about our leadership team is we all kind of fall into different buckets, but we all have insights into how all of them operate. All right,
Yeah.
man. Thanks so
Okay.
much. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the Speculo Live podcast. We are very grateful for your support as always. If you or someone that you know is interested to just get a consultation on how they're using AI in their real estate business, do not hesitate to hit us up through one of the links in our profile, or you can feel free to DM us on any one of the social channels. Stay tuned for more episodes and make sure to like and subscribe to make sure that you get notified when our next podcast episode comes up. Thanks, guys.